Have you ever pondered the secret to a vivacious, contented existence? Fade into a journey of a man who has navigated 90 full revolutions around the glowing sun. This is a man whose core has been molded by the relentless churning of time's wheel. As we dissolve to black and reappear, this is the tale of a nonagenarian, a man who has observed the ebb and flow of countless tides and has braved every tempest with grit and grace. His voyage kicked off in the budding years of the 20th century, a period when our world was a wildly different place. Born into a modest clan, life was anything but a floral carpet. Cut to a shot of a gloomy, overcast day, symbolic of his hardships. But adversity, as people often quote, is the best mentor. And so it was for this young lad. The trials he encountered were not roadblocks, but stepping stones on his path. They were the tools that carved his personality, the flames that tempered his spirit. We pan across a montage of his struggles. He embraced these challenges, interpreting them as threads in life's grand tapestry. He learned to find beauty in the struggle, the lessons in the ordeal. These demanding periods were not just phases of existence, but the very forges that molded him. Cut to a shot of a roaring fire, illustrating his transformation. His tests taught him resilience. His trials instilled a sense of perseverance. These formative experiences laid the bedrock of his persona, his perspective towards life. His struggles were not resented, rather they were his guides. He discerned that life is a complex ballet of joy and sorrow, victory and defeat. As we move to a serene shot of a ballet dancer, he mastered this dance with grace, accepting each moment as it was. The true essence of life, he concluded, is not in dodging obstacles, but in rising stronger each time we stumble. Throughout his existence, he retained spirit of a learner, forever ready to absorb, forever willing to evolve. Cut to a shot of an open book, a symbol of his constant learning. His quest was not for a life of ease, but for a life of growth. He realized that a person's true worth is not defined by their triumphs, but by their resilience in the face of defeat. And so, our wise elder embarked on his journey, one that would gift him a treasure trove of life's wisdom. What could be the fruits of a journey so long? Now let's delve into the life lessons that our nonagenarian sage has gathered along his remarkable journey. Transition into a scene with a stormy backdrop. Firstly, perseverance. Our friend deciphered early that life wouldn't always be a meander in the park. Transition to a scene of him facing trials and tribulations that could bring a lesser man to his knees. But he held his ground. He coped. He uncovered that perseverance wasn't just about weathering the tempest, but learning to dance amidst the downpour. Transition to a scene of a stone pathway. He concluded that the struggles he faced were not hindrances, but stepping stones directing him to his potential. Next, dissolve into a scene showing the passing of time, the value of time. As the days matured into years, and years metamorphosed into decades, he comprehended that time was a resource more precious than the finest gold. He perceived that every moment lost was a moment unrecoverable. Transition to a scene of an hourglass. He seized that time, once gifted, could never be withdrawn. He recognized every tick of the clock took him closer to the end, and hence he decided to make every tick worthwhile. Then fade into scenes showing the importance of relationships. He deciphered that life wasn't about his possessions, but his companions. He comprehended that the bonds he fostered, the friendships he nurtured, and the love he shared and received were the true parameters of a life well lived. Transition into a scene of him making a significant difference. He unearthed that relationships weren't just about receiving, but about giving, about standing by others. Lastly, dissolve into a scene of a sunrise, signifying a positive attitude. He discovered that positivity wasn't about rejecting the negative, but about surmounting it. He realized that a positive attitude wasn't just about being blissful, but about finding the inner strength to tackle whatever life hurled his way. He learned that optimism was a choice that could revolutionize his life. These lessons, hard-earned and deeply internalized, became the cornerstone of his wisdom. Wisdom, once acquired, yearns to be shared. But how does one pass on such precious knowledge? As our story unfolds, a soft fade-in reveals our nonagenarian friend pondering this very question. He had lived, loved, learned, and now it was time to lend his wisdom to others. With a gentle transition, we're shown that he discovered the key to sharing wisdom isn't in grand speeches or intricate theories, but in simple dialogues and heartfelt narratives. A swift pan across the room shows him opening up, sharing his life stories, his wins and challenges, the moments of joy and the periods of pain. A soft zoom in shows his unique teaching approach. No classrooms, no textbooks, no lectures. Instead, a dissolved transition transports us to the warmth of a cozy living room, the comfort of a familiar coffee shop, the serenity of a quiet park. A cutaway to a close-up shot reveals his understanding that wisdom flows best in an environment of comfort and openness. His teachings were not lessons, they were conversations. Stories from his past, experiences from his journey, insights from his heart. And oh, the anecdotes he shared. As we listen, the screen fills with montages from his life, patience lessons from farming days, resilience from war times, love from years with his beloved wife. Each story pulsing with wisdom and teeming with lessons. A fade transition helps us understand the profound impact he had on those around him. His wisdom touched hearts, sparked minds, and stirred souls. A slow pan across the faces of his listeners revealed it wasn't just about learning how to live, but learning how to live well, with purpose, passion, peace. His wisdom was a beacon, guiding them towards a path of fulfillment and contentment. A seamless crossfade reveals it was not just his, but also his generosity that made an impact. He gave freely of his time, his energy, and his wisdom. Another dissolved transition shows his understanding that wisdom, like a candle, loses nothing by lighting another. So he shared. He shared his wisdom, his experiences, his insights. A final fade-out leaves us with his legacy. His wisdom, shared generously, began to inspire and transform the lives of many. Fade in on a life well lived, leaving behind a legacy. Pan to the question, but what kind of legacy does a man such wisdom leave? Cut to a world filled with whispers of timeless wisdom, echoes of lessons learned from a life well lived, reverberating through the ages. This is the legacy left by our nonagenarian sage. A dissolved transition to a legacy that not only illuminates the past, but also casts a brilliant ray onto our path forward. His wisdom, like a well-worn map, continues to guide countless souls on their journey through life, offering direction where there might otherwise be confusion. Jump cut to the question, but how does this legacy continue to thrive? Track to the hearts and minds of those he has touched with his wisdom, where it breathes in the stories they tell. Dissolve to the lessons they pass on, to the changes they make in their lives inspired by his words. His wisdom, like seeds sown in fertile soil, has taken root, grown, and blossomed into a dense forest of inspiration, motivation, and guidance. Pull back to reflect that his wisdom is not just a collection of words, but a living, breathing entity, passed down like cherished heirlooms, nurtured and treasured. His words, his lessons, his wisdom all continue to motivate countless individuals. They offer hope to the hopeless, strength to the weary, and courage to the fearful, shown through a series of rapid cuts. Transition to a reminder that we are all capable of living a life of purpose, a life that leaves a lasting legacy. His legacy, not counted in material possessions or in accolades, is seen through a slow zoom in the lives he's touched, in the hearts he's inspired, in the people who've found strength in his words. Fade into his legacy, a testament to the power of wisdom, the strength of character, and the enduring impact of a life well lived. And so the legacy of our nonagenarian sage continues. It continues in each of us who carry his wisdom in our hearts, who apply his lessons in our lives, who share his insights with others. His legacy, rooted in wisdom, continues to guide and inspire with a sweep across a beacon of light in this ever-changing world, fade out to end scene. So what are the pearls of wisdom we have gleaned from this journey? As a slow fade transition moves us from the current scene, let's recap the wisdom imparted by our nonagenarian guide. His journey of 9 decades, displayed through a series of soft dissolves, has been one of resilience, of understanding the true essence of time, of cherishing relationships, and above all, maintaining unwavering positive attitude. Next, a wipe transition introduces our first lesson. Our guide stressed the power of perseverance. He taught us that life is not a sprint, but a marathon shown through a slow-motion clip of a runner. The road may be long, and the journey may be tough, but it's the relentless spirit of endurance that makes the difference. Remember, it's not about how fast you run, but how long you can keep running. As we move to the next lesson through a fade to black, he taught us about the value of time. Time, he said, is the most precious asset we own. Once spent, a ticking clock transition reveals it can never be regained. Thus, we must spend every moment wisely, ensuring that each second is invested in something that contributes to growth, our happiness, or the well-being of those around us. Through a crossfade, he also emphasized the importance of relationships. In his words, people are not just a part of life, they are life. Our relationships, he advised, should be nurtured with love, respect, and understanding. They are the pillars that hold us up during our darkest hours and the light that illuminates our happiest moments. Finally, through a page-turn transition, he spoke of the power of maintaining a positive attitude. Life, he said, is full of ups and downs, but it's our perspective that defines our experience. A positive attitude not only helps us face challenges with courage, but also allows us to appreciate the beauty in every moment, making our journey truly worthwhile. In the end, the wisdom of 90-year-old sage reminds us all that life's greatest lessons are often learned in the journey, not the destination, he concludes, as a final fade-out transition closes the scene.